Lieutenant Waters, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Yeah. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first order of business this evening is area plan.
Our first item is a request to rezone. This is a second reading from the last meeting. PCR 2207, petitioners EF Development LLC by Brandon Denton member. The owners, Julia Euler and Patricia Martino, co-trustees. It was to rezone 7.112 acres on the north side of Warrick Trail, 1,775 feet west of Warrick Trail and Libert Road, from A, agricultural zoning to C4, general commercial zoning with a use and development commitment. Ohio Township, 21-6 and 9, advertised on standard June 2nd of 2022. The APC gave unanimous positive recommendation at the meeting held on June 13th of 2022, and it was continued from the July 11th Commissioners meeting.
Jeremy Elrod, project engineer with Morley, 4800 Rosebud. As Molly said, I think Jim Morley was here a few weeks ago for this project. I think since all three commissioners weren't present, we can only do a first reading. So we're here for the second reading on the rezoning. I've got exhibits and pictures and such. Not sure how much he covered with you, but here to answer any questions on the wellness trail, assisted living, great fit for this kind of project.
Anyone have any additional questions at this point in time?
Jim kind of answered them all last week. So.
I don't recall. Did you already give us an ordinance number?
I believe Debbie gave you the ordinance number of 17 at the last meeting. So this would still be 2022-17,
Commissioner Johnson,
second
since he
reading.
wasn't last year here, Jim, to see. Jeremy, do you have any papers for Commissioner Johnson?
I'd be more than happy to, Bob. This came through Plan Commission.
I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
Any additional comments from you, Bobby?
No, never mind.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for the second reading.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading to request a rezone.
And I'll second.
Do we need to actually read it? No. Nope. Okay. So I have a first and second for approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
And what was that number?
17.
17?
Thank you.
Our next item is a request for release of surety. It's at Belmore Landing, Section 1A. SYF Properties LLC and LLD Investments, Inc. We're holding a letter of credit for $27,350, guaranteeing the drainage completion, and they've had 1 year. The surety expires August 18th of 2022. And Phil Baxter, the county surveyor, has signed off on this.
Bobby, anything?
I have nothing on this one.
Okay. Entertain a motion for the release of surety.
Make a motion to release surety for Belmore Landing, Section 1A.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
My motion carries unanimously.
That's all for the planning commission.
Thank you, Molly.
Thank you.
Next order of business is our county administrator.
Thank you, Mr. President. The first item I have on my list, it's not on the agenda, is the approval of the minutes. When the agenda was sent out, I had not had a chance to review those yet. I have since then reviewed all of those and do feel like everything is in order if you were to want to go ahead and approve those minutes.
I'll entertain a motion for the approval of minutes from July 11th.
I'll make a motion to approve the July 11th, 2022 regular session minutes.
I'll abstain.
First, and I guess I'll second that motion since I was at that meeting, and all in favor.
Aye.
My motion carries 2-0
Thank you, sir.
with one abstain.
Next on the agenda is next I have is the consent agenda, sorry. We have the county auditor claims, the regular voucher report dates 7/13 through 7/26/2022, and the payroll vouchers of 7/18 and 7/19/2022. And then is the Sally Port Cage project. This was passed by consensus on July 15th. We also have the Weights and Measures monthly report from 6/16 through 7/15, and the treasurer's monthly report for the month ending 6/30/2022. That is all I have.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
My motion carries 3-0.
That's all I have, Mr. President. Thank you.
Okay, next order of business, our county attorney.
Thank you, Mr. President. First thing under the agenda items for the county attorney is ordinance 2022 amending the capital improvement plan. I think the best would be to table it again as we're still determining where would be the appropriate source of funds for that project or that particular analysis.
I can add to that, last meeting, we did approve that out of the ARP funds.
Okay.
So that's been approved. Does that help?
Yes, that
Okay.
helps. So just withdraw that item from the agenda.
Okay.
The next item is an easement involving Chandler Water Transmission Main Project. I guess I'd turn this over to Bobby a little bit if he would like to talk about it, or.
Basically, this is in the old right of way for the Jenner Road extended west past Bell Road. And I believe the easement was submitted to the Ohio Township trustee as the owner of record. And I've been working with him to come up with a location. Initially, they wanted the entire right of way for their line. And I felt that some of those properties, this is the only access that they have. So we settled on a 12-foot easement on the south side of that property, and I believe it's ready for approval. Chad is here.
I wasn't planning on speaking to this today, Chad Bennett, Ohio Township trustee, but just to piggyback on Bobby, we've sent that back to Chandler's engineer and they're redrawing and going to redefine it on the, forget the document they gave us, but basically a new submission of what they want to do as far as purchasing a permanent easement. And then we're also working with them on a temporary easement for construction. And like I've told with Bobby and with Todd, is that our intention is once we get this all worked out and signed through Chandler, through the township, then once it's done, we want to deed this or convey it to the county so that it becomes part of the county, because there's no point in the township maintaining this. It was given back to us in the 1800s or whenever it was that somebody deeded this over to us. So
How many linear feet is it?
it's 1.9 miles, but it's like 30 feet wide by
33 feet wide, and their easement is a little less. It doesn't go the full distance, or did it?
what was that?
Their easement didn't go the full distance, did it, or did it?
Originally, they wanted the full easement, but
Yeah.
that's what we were taking exception to, is that we wanted them to define that easement and take one side of the property to the other, so that 30 years from now, if Jenner Road needs to be extended, we're not spending $50 million to move a water line that could have been put in the right way the first time at day one.
Very good.
Where does that actually end up, Chad, that Jenner Road? Where
If you came off of where Libert Road,
On the
or, sorry,
west
where
end.
Libert Road tees into Telephone Road, if
Yeah.
you continued north, that property stops right there where an imaginary Libert Road and Jenner Road would intersect out in that farm field.
You mean that Jenner running west?
Jenner Road right now stops at Bell Road.
Right.
If you imagine Jenner continuing running east to about where you would
West.
west
Okay, no
to Libert
confusion.
Road.
Okay.
Sorry, been a long day.
Okay.
Running west to where Libert Road would eventually come north of telephone.
Okay,
It would intersect that way.
okay, got it.
But to Bobby's point, there's a lot of land out there that might be their only access to at some point in time now, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for the easement Chandler Water Transmission Line Project.
So moved.
Second.
Have a first and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
My motion carries 3-0.
And the last thing, it's not a listed agenda item because we were made aware of it just today, but you've been provided a copy of a proposed notice request proposals of a construction manager as a constructor, excuse me. This is with regards to the design and construction of a potential new jailing facility, detention facility. We are working to secure referred to as a CMC, to help develop those plans. And what you have in front of you is the draft of the RFP that we would like to get published next week. So all that is needed right now is maybe a provisional approval of the commissioners of this draft to be finalized by consensus later this week. And then upon that happening, we can get this to the standard for publication, which would be required as this relates to a public works project.
So understand that we really don't have a chance to review this fully. It sounds like we have the opportunity to do so
Yes.
if needed.
This, we have a little bit of wiggle room with the standard whenever they need submissions to be published in that next edition. So we have that timeline available to us, which I think is Friday of this week. So we have some time to get final consensus approval, but want to get this in front of you on the record and then just continue forward with getting this published quickly as we can so we can get those RFPs back in as quickly as we can.
Okay. This is definitely not a project where it's a logical 1 foot in front of the other.
This has been developed consulting a lot of similar projects throughout the state and trying to get the best types of return in terms of whatever, in terms of proposals from CMCs for this project.
Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion, understanding that you haven't really had a chance to review this, so I'm certainly open to any suggestions.
I'll make a motion that we give council approval to send out for submission of quotes after we've had a chance to review and have a consensus on it.
Second.
I have a first and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's all I have.
Okay, next order of business is our County Economic Development Director. He just walked in, so we know he's ready.
Sure. Good evening, Steve Rowley, Economic Development. I think what we are on the agenda right now for is a service agreement between Warrick County and EREP. For those that don't know, EREP is the merger of a couple of different organizations, including the Chamber, Southwest Chamber, and the Southwest Coalition. And we've always supported this organization. It's in my budget. It's been appropriated already. Both EREP and Warrick County wanted to get an agreement in place. The commissioners have seen this for a month or so and asked for some changes, which EREP made. Jenna Reichert is in the audience right here, brand new Warrick County resident, and she is in charge of economic for EREP. They've made the changes that Warrick County has recommended. We have the funding in our budget, and I am all in favor for approval and signing.
Jenna, is there anything that you'd like to add?
I just appreciate the work that we can do with Steve and appreciate your engagement with EREP. So happy to answer any questions if you have.
So, I mean, I'm real familiar with the agreement. Commissioner Johnson, do you have any questions? One thing that, we did make a request for Steve to be on that board, engaged in there. We feel like Steve can be an asset to the EREP organization and the regional. Steve's kind of the regional thinker anyway. Obviously his obligation is to Warrick County, but Steve is always kind of thinking big picture. And so we think it's a great addition to the board. And so that's been approved. And so that was just one of the requirements that we felt like we needed to see. And so I feel good about the agreement and our relationship with EREP.
I'm good with it.
I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the EREP agreement as presented.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next order of business is County Highway.
Thank you. I actually will have two items. The first one is the Bridge 140 consultant agreement. This agreement is for Bridge 140 on New Harmony Road. It was a recently approved federal aid awarded project, and the consulting contract here has been approved by NDOT. It is with Lockmuir Group for a total of $494,125, and that is to be 80-20 split. I recommend approval.
Make a motion to approve the Bridge 140 consultant agreement.
Second.
I have a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
The other item I had quickly is sealed bids for the crack sealing of bituminous surface treatment project. Basically, we looked at 2 subdivisions and trying a new product called Liquid Road. And we did an advertisement and ran in the paper twice. We sent out to at least 2 individuals that we knew were interested in this. And we only received the one. I need my big knife.
Can't help it.
Looks like you stole your daughter's scissors.
I tell you were waiting to say that.
So the other company didn't bid
No,
or didn't return?
no. They were to be in by 3:30 today.
What was the 2 companies that you sent it to?
I think one was called Laser Lines. They were both, the Liquid Road manufacturer recommended these 2.
Okay.
And actually, this other gentleman I was talking to was Gary Newman with National Pavement. Right, I think he may be associated with this Evans Development Company who cements. So I have one bid from Evans Development Company for a total amount of $137,607.62.
670?
$137,607.62.
Okay. And so again, Bobby, what was that for?
What this is for any necessary crack sealing in the Landmark subdivision and in the Kenosha Hills, I believe it's section 5.
And does that give a lineal footage on those?
I do not have that off the top.
Okay.
I can get that for you.
And so can you just give a brief description of what that
This is
project is?
pavement preservation. Basically, you take a road that's been paved 3 to 4 years ago. It's ideal before a lot of the cracks have formed. And we use this product to bring it up to like new standards, completely sealed road that will extend its life at a fraction of the cost of repaving.
Did they do any sample? They didn't do any samples for us, did they?
No, not this time with the Liquid Road. I don't have that from.
Is there any way that
Sealmaster.
you can convince them to maybe do a little section of our trails, just to lay down I'm talking, 200, 300, 400 feet just to see how it performs on that?
We can do that. I can talk to them about that.
Or can we get the product? Can we do it ourselves?
Equipment, yeah, we can get the product directly from the manufacturer, but equipment-wise, I need to make sure it's adequate and small, that it can work on the trail.
On the
without
trail,
causing
right.
issues.
So how's that application process?
Basically, it's a distributor with squeegee,
Is it like, oh, really?
and it's got, this has sand and aggregate mixed in with it.
Okay.
And so it puts down a coating a little thicker than what you think a typical seal would be.
So that squeegee is gonna be what, 8, 10 foot?
Probably close to the width of the trail. So I need to check on that, depending on.
Yeah, well, that trail is,
Should be 8.
6 foot or 8?
It should be 8.
8.
Yeah.
Does this gentleman represent the,
Oh, Gary's right here.
yeah, can you come up to the podium and introduce yourself?
That depends. Am I gonna be recorded, so they're really gonna come back and haunt me now? So-
Absolutely. Come on up.
I just wanted to make sure.
State your name for the
I'm
record.
Gary Newman. I'm with National Pavement Maintenance. We're the applicator for Edmonds Development for the bid that you're just talking about. The Liquid Road is a asphalt-based, heavy-duty sealer with fine aggregates, sand, mineral fillers. And we put it down with a squeegee. It comes in a tank with an agitator. It goes down cold. The screed is 8 feet. It extends out to 12 feet, and it has squeegees and brushes. So we put 2 coats on it. Put the first coat down, let it dry, put the second coat down. It, there are places that have been down 5, 6, 7, 8 years that it still looks really good. Obviously, you're gonna have some wearing in the radiuses, just like any other surface you have. Can't guarantee that it will last 10 years in terms of looking absolutely perfect, but it is gonna perform well. It gets down into the voids and it stays in the voids. If you get the wearing, it's just on the top where the stone is polished. So it's a product that it will preserve the pavement for years.
So was your company, I'm familiar with the product itself and it's used in Jasper, Indiana.
Yep.
Did you guys do that?
We did not. Jasper self-performs.
Gotcha.
We've worked in Columbus, Indiana, Madison, Burlington, Indiana, South Bend. So we're cities all over the state.
I am familiar with it. I'm excited to see how it works here in Warrick County.
So I have a question for you. So
Sure.
in your opinion, of course, how does this protect pavement, asphalt? I mean, so in other words, I know it has, but how do you feel like that protects pavement?
Pavement, once pavement is down, it starts deteriorating. The sun will oxidize the asphalt, start oxidizing the asphalt out of it. When the asphalt comes out, then the sand and then the aggregate starts wearing and wearing out. So when the sand goes out, then the aggregate goes out, so that that's when you start getting the real pock marks in the pavement. And then it opens it up to any pavement is only as good as the base. So if the base is going to be moving, you're going to get cracks coming up. Well, the pavement preservation you can't prevent cracks, because if it cracks underneath, it's going to come up. What you try to do with the pavement preservation is to try to eliminate the oxidation so that the sealer will stay on the pavement to eliminate the oxidation, because if it oxidizes, then you start getting hairline cracks on the top. Water gets in, freeze, thaw, then it starts getting bigger and wider and popping out.
Have you had any communities have you coat their trails with your product?
City of Carmel is in the process right now of seal coating their trails with Liquid Road
And why? Why are they doing that?
for the same reason they do on streets, is to preserve that trail. And obviously with a trail, less traffic, so it will last
Longer.
Right.
Sir,
The City of Columbus didn't use Liquid Road. It was a different product. It was an asphalt-based product. I call it the little brother of Liquid Road, because it doesn't have as many aggregates or fillers, but it's just a little bit lighter surface.
Sir, Commissioner Saylor asked the question of how many feet was bid here. Do you know that answer by chance? Or if not, do you know what's generally the cost of this per
You mean,
mile or foot or whatever?
you were asking about crack filling or liquid road?
Liquid
Liquid
road.
I have the square yardage. I'm not sure I have or do I?
Bobby can get that for us later.
Yeah,
That's okay.
it's-
I'm just curious more than anything.
Gary, so it's a 2-coat process.
Correct.
So how soon after you put 1 coat down, is it dry time 24 hours? Traffic got to stay off of it?
2 ways we can look at that. We've had pretty good success in the past where we'll do half this. This microphone's going to get me yet, isn't it? I know.
You're going to knock that off yet, yeah.
We do one side of the street at a time. And in the past, we've had good success with letting it dry. And then about 4 hours later, we do that in the morning. By 10 o'clock, we're finished. Then we come back in the afternoon by 2 and let it on the second coat and let it dry. So we can usually have the road open by 7 o'clock at night. Now, the manufacturer is starting to look at it doing a different way where they want to put 1 coat down on this side in the morning, then put 1 coat down on this side in the afternoon, give it a chance, both of them open this side while you do this side. So it's 2 ways to look at it. I'm not sure what the best way is yet. They're still discussing that. And the next day you come back and do the same thing on the same street. So we really haven't figured that out completely yet. We've had good success for the 6 years of applying the material, so I'm not sure which is the best way to go.
That was my next question. How long ago was your first your product laid, and how is that road performing today?
As a contractor, the first work we did was in Columbus, Indiana in 2018. Now, Sealmaster this product has been around for 10 12 years, something like that. And Sealmaster did some work in Indianapolis where they put it in some small streets probably 8 years ago, and it's still there. It still looks good. Not perfect, but it still looks good. It's still protecting pavement.
So Bobby, this bid was for $137,000 and some change.
Yes.
What do you feel like that lineal foot would have been, to resurface those in today's dollars with pavement?
Well, I'd have to get you that lineal foot, but with those subdivisions,
Ballpark.
I mean, we're just right around half the cost of at this.
So this is a 50%, you feel?
Roughly.
Okay. That was what I was after. Okay. Okay. Good deal. I'm excited about this. I hope, so this is a turnkey project. We don't, our department doesn't have to do anything for you, sweep, anything.
If you have a street sweeper, that'd be great to help us out. If you don't, you don't. I mean, if you want to come out and ride the truck, you're welcome to do that. We'll be happy to have you.
Don't tempt me.
Okay. No, we prepared.
I can drive any piece of equipment. I'm just not certified.
I believe that.
The residents will have a website they could go to. I believe you'll do signage and
Yeah, that was my next
and then,
question.
yard signs out front to notify them.
Sealcoatschedule.com is what we use, and I think I've even got the tab set up for, well, no, I don't think I do. Anyway, you can go through some of the other communities and look at that. You'll see some of the letters that go out in the actual process. There are videos on that that show the application process with the trucks. So we have that website. We put out yard signs to indicate when and where, what streets will be on. In this neighborhood, I'd actually go door to door and put notices on each door is what I would do on both those neighborhoods. So
Good deal.
that's how I do that.
Give me that website again.
Sealcoatschedule.com.
Okay.
One word, just like it sounds.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm excited about it.
Okay, thank you.
So do we make a motion to approve and
Approve it
based on
subject to our review
review?
of the bid documents and they make sure it's responsive and
Right.
responsible.
We good? I make a motion to approve the liquid road bid subject to approval of legal counsel and Bobby.
I'll second.
I have a first and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. That all, Bobby?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Sir. All right, next order of business is our county grants development. Debbie?
Bobby, I'd like to be notified when that's happening, so I'd like to see that process.
Is this your phone?
Sir?
Is this your phone?
Sir, do you have a card?
Yes.
Would you mind leaving us a couple cards, 2 or 3?
Okay, good afternoon. So I'm here today to do reporting on the Arpa projects received to date. We received 20 applications as of last Friday. The core group met, and from these projects, we are recommending 15 to move forward. 5 projects were tabled for a future meeting. So I'm going to start with the county projects. And again, I hope everyone received their folders and scores and everything in advance. But if you have questions, stop me. Do you want to go through these as per project?
One at a time, please.
One at a time. Okay, we can do it. So the first recommendation was to do a Parks Master Plan, $50,000 to conduct a 5-year Parks Master Plan, which includes all Warrick County parks, including land, assets, programs, et cetera, for current and future parks. The plan is to be conducted by American Structure Point, and the plan is scheduled to be completed by December 31st, 2022, in order to be submitted to the Indiana Department of Natural Resources for approval. Following approval, the plan will be good for 5 years and opens the door to IDNR for grant funding.
So council will just take these one at a time, normal approval process. Motion to approve.
Motion
Nothing
approved.
special.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Okay. The second is the mass communication system, AKA the weather sirens. They recommended a not to exceed figure of $800,000 for replacement of the existing weather warning sirens, including 4 additional.
I make a motion to table.
Second.
I have a motion to table and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Okay, the next is the Bridge 148 design, $195,300 in soft costs to SJCA for design Bridge 148. This is already under contract.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
The next is the Van Anderson Roundabout, $478,000 in soft costs to Structure Point to design the Van Anderson Roundabout, and this is also already under contract.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Feasibility study for the Health Department, $14,800 in soft costs to Lamar Architecture to reconfigure the existing first floor health department for privacy, direct entry, and larger waiting rooms.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Comprehensive Master Plan, up to $108,000 to Lockmuller Group and Taylor Seifer Williams to conduct an updated APC comprehensive plan into a living document that can be used for future planning. The Master Plan Core Committee will be assigned by the commissioners, will include 12 persons or more from the county commissioners, county council, CVB, LEDOs, local school, business and industry leaders, advocacy groups such as outdoor recreation, the planning director, planning commission, chamber, and that's not all inclusive, but those were suggested.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Scales Lake, a not to exceed figure of $450,000 for demolition and new construction of all 3 playgrounds currently at Scales Lake.
So I have a question about this one.
Okay.
Not sure, having ARPA money is obviously a unique situation. So while I'm in favor of this, I've also learned that, the number, which I thought was high, was because of ADA accessibility. I have a little bit of a passion for Scales Lake, and I just would like to somehow play a role in the process of making sure these things go like I think they should go. What happens if we approve this? Does it just get handed to the Parks Department and they go on their way, or what's the next step in the process?
No, not necessarily. Ben got 3 quotes on playground equipment, 3 different designs, 3 different budgets for each, because obviously each one of them wanted to use their own equipment. So the core group said to approve up to that much, but we're going to have to work with Ben on the design and what exactly is going out there.
Okay.
We're not just going to hand it to him.
Understood. Okay, that answers my question.
Yeah, the only way I would approve this is that you have your eyes on that.
Yep. And we can approve it, table it if you, that answers my question. If you guys have
If
further questions.
you feel good about, you'll have some input and some.
Is this something that we should table, and Terry, you can go out and have a meeting with Ben and
No, I
look at
don't.
the designs, or?
I don't necessarily think so. I've certainly been involved in what's gone on so far.
Okay.
I'm good with it. It's just something, we want it done. We want it done right. Not that they can't do that on their own, but
2 of the proposed designs are in your folders if you want to review them. 2 of them that he received.
my initial holdback was the molded rubber flooring, and that doubles the cost, and we have to have that for AD accessibility. And I did not know that at first. So
It's kind of a big number to swallow.
Okay, you good with it? Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries 3-0.
The Warrick Bucks, and that is a program, $500,000 to provide matching funds for gift cards from local businesses to increase buying power to residents to shop local. If you want to know more, you can ask Steve.
I spoke with Steve earlier about this. I've heard Steve talk about it in our economic development meetings. I support the program. I think it's great, especially when we're helping local businesses. However, since we have a lot of projects, I would like to approve this, but based on 250,000. And then if that program's successful, we could always come back and look for some more funds for that.
Agreed, and we can tweak it and see what works and what don't work, and adapt and change.
So I make a motion to approve, but only for $250,000.
And I'll second.
I have a first and second at 250. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Friedman Maze, $25,000 for construction of a new maze for public use at Friedman Park.
I'm always for improving our parks, and I think while I don't know a lot about this particular project, I think it's been pitched by Joe and something that he feels good about, so I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries 3-0.
Again, the design is in your folder if you want to review it. Next, Friedman Security, $18,000 to place additional security at Friedman Park.
I do have a question about that, and maybe directed at Steve. Steve, are you going to be involved in that a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
My motion carries 3-0.
Howard Nevins Memorial Plaza, $9,000 in matching funds for a new $80,000 plaza at the entrance of Friedman Park named after Howard Nevins.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
All right.
My motion carries 3-0.
And the last of the county projects is the RLF seed funds, $500,000 in seed money to create a Warrick County revolving loan fund for small businesses. Loans can be used for various reasons such as buildings, facades, operational expenses, equipment, etc.
So again, I've talked with Steve Raleigh with this. Again, it's supporting local businesses. Again, I'm going to make a recommendation that we start out with 250,000. If either one of those programs are successful, then we'll go after some additional funding. And again, these are programs that Steve has laid eyes on in other communities. He feels like they're successful and they've generated positive results. So again, I will support this, and so I make a motion to approve.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That was 250.
Yes.
250,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
I want to make sure. Okay. So now we'll move on to the program that we're calling ARPA Competitive Grant Program.
Debbie, can I
Sure.
ask you, please,
Sure.
before we move on to that, to just very briefly talk about the contingency?
Yeah, I was going to do that at the end, but we can
Okay,
talk about it
okay.
now.
All right, I'm sorry.
No, at the core group meeting, we did decide that some of the projects may run over, and we decided to set aside $850,000 in a contingency fund for any of the programs or projects that may run over at some point due to change orders, price increases, and it will just be there. They'll have to come back and ask again for the money before they get it, but we'll have it kind of as an emergency fund.
And I think that's very prudent, very smart, good business. The only thing that, I know when we did this project of $6 million, we had $300,000 worth of contingency money. We still have some of that contingency money left today. I looked at it as like my own money and protected it. So all I ask is that be looked at the same way. That
Correct.
just because it's there doesn't mean we got to use it to spend extra on projects. That $850,000 would do a lot of other projects in this community. So
Yes.
that's all I ask. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, next is the ARPA Competitive Grant Program.
Wait, Debbie, I got one question. Does that have to be approved by motion, that contingency? I mean,
You're
it's,
not using it.
No, I
No.
think it's on the record as being
That's
set aside for that reason. The
Yes.
motion's probably not necessary.
okay. Okay,
Okay, first project under the competitive program is the Rivertown Pickleball. If you recall, last commissioners meeting, Rivertown Pickleball filed a request for $300,000 for the pickleball courts at Van Avenue on county park property. At that meeting, we discussed whether that was enough funding or not. So I met with the pickleball club again. They revoked their original application of $300,000, and after going through the budget, meeting with the Parks Board and the new requirements, they are now requesting $500,000 due to the rise in expenses and the additional items that the Parks Board was requiring.
It's a lot of money.
Council, do we need to motion the withdrawal of the original, or just do it all at once?
I'm not sure it's necessary. I mean, you could acknowledge the withdrawal of their initial application, and as a result, you revoke. I mean, yeah, you can make a motion revoking the initial approval of the initial application is submitted. That's fine.
Bob, I thought so too.
I was good with the 350.
Well, so
I'm not gonna be good with $500,000.
I think the Parks Board, Terry, you're probably better versed to speak on this, but I think there was some requirements that the Parks Board had that I think one was a project
Manager.
Construction manager.
Or construction manager, thank
It's
you.
an additional like 40 to 45,000.
Additional engineering.
Pay for it. I'm not gonna vote for a $500,000 pickleball ball court.
How many courts are
10.
It's
10
not gonna matter.
10 courts.
10 courts, restrooms, fencing, lighting. They are putting $205,000 into it of their money.
Correct.
It is a public court. It's not just for Rivertown Pickleball. They have the option of using it for events before the public comes, and they do have an operating and maintenance agreement with Parks Board. They've gone to the Parks Board. We now have a pro forma rules, several things that we were lacking, I think, in the beginning. I feel a little more comfortable about it than I did. And they just filed their special use today with the Plan Commission.
I think if anybody would have had a crystal ball at any point, this may have evolved into a county build with a pickleball club management. However, they were the driving force behind it. And they're getting it done. Kudos to them. So, yeah, it's definitely a higher price tag than what I'd like to see, but, aren't all government projects.
Dan, I have a budget back there with all of the numbers if you want to look at it.
I was a little bit skeptical on this project, but after I talked to several people in the county, not just in my district, but I know in District 1, District 2, about how there's a push for these and that they need places to play. And, this is quality of life type of things that makes our community, rather than they go, I just heard that, we have people leaving this community to go to parks over in Owensboro and to go over to Riverfront there and to play and participate. And I just think we need more things like this in our community. So
I don't disagree that we do, but why can't we start out a little bit smaller and expand it as it needs to grow? I mean, they're putting in $200,000 and they're wanting us to more than double that. And last week 2 weeks ago, they were asking for $300,000.
Yeah, but we as a county, not we, the commissioners, have thrown.
Don't be going we on me because Bob didn't do nothing.
The county has thrown probably $75,000 of additional expenses on their plate. And I don't disagree with that, but here we are. So my comments would be,
take a vote on it.
our investment today is considered to be $500,000 plus the lease on the land. As I see it, we're not going to have any additional investments in this. We don't have to get the people there to play pickleball. They're having the tournaments. We don't have to take care of it. They're maintaining it. We don't have any additional investments in this. It's pretty much just a one-time expense. So, as I look at things, I look at, the total cost of ownership, not just the return on investment. And from a total cost standpoint, I think it's the best that we're going to do. So with that being said, I'll entertain a motion of some sort.
I make a motion to approve.
Second it.
I have a first, and I will second that. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All abstain or all
No.
opposed? Motion carries 2-1.
Okay, the town of Elberfeld, an engineering request of $209,900 in soft costs to Commonwealth Engineers for preliminary design, geotechnical, easement prep, and environmental review of a proposed sewer project to sewer 41 new homes, Friedenberg's gas station, and add a sewer connection at the I-69 interchange. Elberfeld did apply to the state revolving fund for the infrastructure funding. They are listed on the priority listing as number 38, which sounds far down, but it's not because there's like 100 on there right now. And their next step in order to move forward to be able to be maybe potentially in the infrastructure funding, they need to do this work.
Debbie, I believe, I don't know how the rules work with their application, but if we get done with the income study and the income study comes back at a certain level, then they will be 100% eligible for the remainder of the balance of the funding,
They
correct?
could potentially. So the state revolving fund, when they do their priority listing, they base it on median household income, rates, the rate impact, the number of users, and in this case, they're eliminating septic systems, so they got extra points. They used the entire town of Elberfeld's median household income, and it was $89,683. This is just for a small portion of 41 homes. So Elberfeld's doing an income study of those 41 homes to convince the state revolving, that the median household income of those homes is not at 89,000. So that's happening right now. I'm sorry, if you get below 46,000 average, you could potentially receive 100% in grant funding.
Is there a sliding scale to where the closer you get to that number, your percentage of the project increases?
At this point, we don't know. We've heard 50-50, 80-20, and 100%. And the rate impact for those residents is $170 a month because they're paying nothing right now.
Steve?
I will entertain a motion.
Again, I think they have issues up there with sewer, so I'll be more than happy to support this infrastructure. So I make a motion to approve.
Second?
I have a first and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
Elberfeld did put $60,000 of their own ARPA funding into this project so far. Okay, the town of Linville, $194,000 for matching funds for improvements to the Linville Community Center, including restroom upgrades, painting, and new parking lot. The town is putting $10,000 of their ARPA funding into this project as well.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
I have a first and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
That's all I have.
Is that it?
Thanks.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie.
I believe that's it. Anything else from anyone? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I have a first and a second, all in favor.
Aye.
My motion carries 3-0.
52.
Yeah.
You.
Steve? I'll try to call them, just see if we can't get something done for.
Let's get a sample.
Yeah, just see if, hey, you can lay down a strip 200-300 feet and then see how it performs.
I got the exact 200 feet.